giving a shout out to Cranberries.
Dolores O'Riordan done dead. 45.
Were y'all big Cranberries fans?
Well, I was a big fan of this song in particular because just of that part.
And then we went white angry guys and went right into Eminem with it. Sweat Equity Podcast, we're going to do a mini. Hey, if we miss our Thursday podcast pushing it out, that's only because you'll know we're super busy, but we do it for you, the fans.
We make it up.
We're making it
sick. You people are getting all my energy.
Yeah, I'm sick as
I'm
well.
pass out on
I
this
am
table.
not sick, and I'm in between a sick sandwich.
The first sick voice you hear
You'll be sick.
is Eric Redinger. Let him hear your voice again.
No, not until you pronounce my name right.
Red Ridinger.
That's it. Okay.
Mm-hmm. I'm Law Smith, and that other sultry voice, the non-sick voice you're hearing, is Damien Alpazar of 208 Monkeys.
What's up?
We're doing this out of the Cigar City podcast studio. Yeah, I'm dubbing it that. I'm going to put it online, put it on a Facebook location.
Nice.
From Tokabaga Consulting. I feel like we don't give a shout out for our own business on here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So we're a small, medium business consulting company mixed with a digital agency. So that's our business, tokaworks.com. Solving How is our hashtag. Speaking of which, I heard Owen Benjamin, funny comedian buddy of mine, talked about the Me Too campaign. And he's like, is anybody realizing they're calling this the Pound Me Too?
Nobody calls it pound. I was thinking about it the
That's
other day.
so funny.
I'm going to go back to calling it pound sign.
That
The OG
Pound.
hashtag.
That guy is so smart and so funny. I loved working with him
Pound
when I
me
did.
too.
Yeah. So shout out to Owen Benjamin, and shout out to our sponsor, which I guess will be. Where are we going with? We're going FreshBooks, right?
FreshBooks.
We got to go FreshBooks.
Tell me
because
about FreshBooks.
It's tax season, right? I'm doing our taxes right now. Like I literally have to reconcile accounts right now. It's a nightmare.
You cannot write off strippers, bro. I'm looking at
I'm
your.
not?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It is not meals and entertainment.
What?
It does not count.
Wait, no.
They're consultants, not meals and entertainment. It's
Right.
different.
Oh.
They may want to do branding. So literally every conversation we have comes back to some kind of work with what we're doing in this office. So we got a lot of write-offs, and I need FreshBooks to make that happen. Tell me about your experience while I pull up the promo code, because I'm pulling it up right now.
My experience with strippers or with my experience with the FreshBooks?
If you can mix the two, that would make you kind of
Well, you know,
pretty
it's interesting.
savvy.
Here's a thing that people don't realize, that strippers are independent contractors, and by default, the clothing that they buy, even though it's a very skimpy clothing, is actually a write-off. So they could actually put, just like you would write off a suit for a new job, you can actually write off clothing if it pertains to your work. So for all of you out there in the adult entertainment industry, if you're not using FreshBooks to, you know, write off your heels, your skimpy clothing, and other such items, then you're missing out. You're actually able to, you know, you got to claim some stuff on taxes. You don't want to just do cash business all the time. You want to claim some things on taxes, so that way when it comes to buying a car or a house, you can show some sort of income. That thing is important.
Dude,
so
you just made
track it.
strippers so
So-
boring.
So, but, and he's acting like they put cash
you know
down, the cash down to the IRS.
Well, you
You're
told me
also-
to work it in, man. I worked it in.
You filibustered nicely. I would say
As he scrambles.
With a straight face, mind you. With a straight face the entire time.
go freshbooks.com/sweat. That's gofreshbooks.com / I guess you don't say / anymore. /sweat, like key sweat, keeping you groovy. Our listeners get a discount. You get a trial of 30 days. You get the hookup. It helps the show. Even if you're not gonna, maybe you're a Xero guy or a QuickBooks guy, just click on the link in the description, because it all kind of helps us out.
Yeah.
You know, anything you got to promote? I want to get into contract stuff. So
You know, I'm here with 208 Monkeys, representing all the graphics and video people out there, animations and so on and so forth. We have our new intern, Jordan, from the Art Institute of Tampa, who is switching today for us.
Jordan.
So, Jordan, he might not say much. Just say hi.
Hi there. Apology in advance. The switching is a very new interface to me, but it's going well. It's
All right.
yeah, don't worry about it. Just make sure when people are watching that they want to barf. Just switch a lot.
I am accomplished.
As fast as you can go.
Yeah, yeah.
You probably won't hear much from him the rest of the episode because we didn't give him a mic. But
And he didn't want to really be on it.
he's off camera. He's having a bad hair day.
Yeah, he's well. You
Your
know,
word's not ours.
the
right?
thing is,
you said that walking in, right?
No, Damien said that.
Oh well, I heard it.
listen, I've
I mean,
seen
he's
I've
right.
seen Jordan on a good hair day. That thing is just coughed
Yeah.
backwards perfectly.
Yeah, it looks like it's like bedhead made. It's like made to be messy kind of thing.
You know what people who listen to podcasts love is talking about stuff they can't see.
Well,
We're-
sorry about
It's
that,
good
podcast
pod.
people.
Well, we're not just a
If you want me to
podcast.
give, if you want me to give you a very,
if they're
I'm
watching.
really good at giving descriptions. I can give a very descriptive.
Please use your words.
All
We're,
right.
we're a podcast and streaming show. I want to make that declaration right now. I mean, we're both. And most podcasts are gonna be doing that too. You
Yeah.
know, all the big dogs have got to have video at some point.
Yeah, it's true. And
Yeah.
it's and I actually half the time when I'm listening to a video podcast, I'm listening to it in my car. So I may glance down and see something, but I'm really listening to it more than anything else.
Right.
So
So wait, you turn on a video podcast and then just listen to the audio?
well, there's some of my podcasts are only on like YouTube
Oh,
and on
right,
video,
okay.
so I don't really get a chance.
I
to,
gotcha. I guess that
Yeah.
makes sense.
And
Not
you have the Rap
exactly-
Party, your podcast. We're gonna get you on audio soon.
Yes, we are.
It's
We have-
super
we have-
easy.
we have
We'll start recording
so
the
many-
audio to that.
We have so many. It's sad that a video production company that has all the bells and whistles doesn't extract the audio for
Too
a
busy.
podcast.
It's tough. How many?
extra.
That's going to be Jordan's job. I mean, it's super easy, but it's like how many administrative things can you do? At some point, you got to have someone qualified like Jordan to help out with that. And it's super. If you need to know how to do it, you can download anything you do on Facebook Live or YouTube Live streaming. You can re-download that video. A lot of people don't know that. And then if you have a Mac, you can go in QuickTime, file, export audio. There you go.
There you
That's
go.
all I do. Because the audio that comes through our live stream, it's all mixed already. So it's already
as
good.
good.
Yeah. No one knows. I mean, once-
Audio's not that hard. You don't have to have super high quality audio to make it
well,
come through.
I don't know. I've gotten some hell. Apparently, I was popping. You told me I was popping last last podcast,
I
but
guess never mind.
but I mean, like audio nerds will tell you they're very sensitive about that.
Right, but most people are not audio nerds. They're even okay with a pop every once in a while. They don't think about it like we do.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but especially when you start mixing video and audio is very important. We have people that they sound like they're in an empty room. If all of a sudden if I started sounding like this, hey, so we're having a conversation
Right.
here on this podcast. Yeah.
So what
people
we'll-
don't like that at all.
What we're going to do is we're going to do a mini podcast, and I'm going to throw it out there without talking to Eric about it first. But we'll do another mini one early next week to kind of make it kind of a full hour of sorts, just because we're pressed for time today. But I want to go over contracts because I feel like I talked to a lot of freelancers and a lot of agencies, a lot of firms about this, and I want to give the advice straight up. That I got after going through a suit with a client at one point a couple years ago, and it's pretty easy to follow, but again, administratively, this is the last thing you want to do in the business development process is really worry about your contract. You just want to get started. If you're a small business or if you're doing your side thing, or you don't want to have to double back and be like, that's actually the part that takes me out of like the energy of like getting it going, It's like, oh, I got to write 3 today. I guess that's where this kind of was bubbling in my head anyway. And so when you have your contract, don't get your friend that's an attorney that does real estate to do your contracts. Get them to do a template for you. Get a business attorney. People think attorneys are just, you're an attorney, you can do everything. And it's so specified, especially now.
Might be the most specified. Well,
Medical field would probably be the second most.
Right.
It's segmented.
But they're even better. Like they'll know more medicines. Like, are you cold? Is your lymph nodes? Well, they know the questions to ask. Doctors usually attorneys. They're like, I don't fucking know.
But even business
They'll forget.
attorneys, even business attorneys, some are good at employment and some are good at mergers and acquisitions. So you really need to kind of narrow that field down to like who's done a lot of startups or who's done a lot of small businesses where you're kind of doing your own thing. What provisions can they help you put in there so you don't get screwed? So like if you're a graphic designer, my heart goes out to the good graphic designers out there. You got a lot of animators and stuff because what happens is they end up, now it's tough because a lot of them are flakes too, but they end up getting screwed a lot because design A by a client is never recognized for what it should be. And then B, like, design is tough. Original design is really tough. But like, there's a lot of iterations that happen behind the scenes the client doesn't know about. And I feel like there's a lot, you always need to declare, all right, we're making a logo. There's 3 rounds. Each round has, the first round has 5 concepts, and then we whittle down each time. Here are the days we meet for these notes. I need feedback from you. So the way we do like a logo design is we go 3 rounds, 5 concepts, 6 concepts, whatever. And in between each round, we give a little bit of breath. So let's call it 6 weeks, which is still pretty quick because we're good like that. But between, all right, round 1, I'm gonna show you we show them in person or via video because I want to see your instant reaction. Round 2 and 3, I don't care because we just need feedback. And then I'm gonna give you 3 days to give me more notes because I want you to kind of digest it. But on that 3rd day, we show you on a Monday. On Thursday, you have to get us feedback. If you want to submit feedback, you have to be this strict about it, or else you get fucked.
Right.
Right?
I
mean, you're on movies, which is even tighter.
It's the same thing. I mean, whether design is design, iterations are iterations, and feedback is one of the things that can slow down a project to a crawl, especially when you're in the creative state. Whether you're doing a character design, or you're doing a costume design, or you're doing a logo design, when you're trying to basically, I must take the words that you tell me, turn that into an image of some sort, and give you that image, and then take more words that you tell me and convert that into an image again. We're basically trying to read minds and figure out that image, that perfect image that's in your head. And even the idea is that not every client comes to the table with a perfect image. Most clients come to the table with a concept, and then they basically, by a committee of one or a committee of many, try to decide, does this feel right? Does this look right? Are we getting the right response from this particular image, logo in this case? And if that's the case, what's our feedback? But if that feedback if you guys are making a decision, and that decision takes 3 weeks to come to a conclusion, then you're like, hey, so I know this project length was only 4 weeks. It took us 3 weeks to make a decision on this one round. Can we still get it in time for the 4th week? That then becomes a problem.
It's like translating, I was going to say from a whole other language, but it's like doing it to one language and then another one, because like when Law says he wants to see somebody's visceral reaction, then you're reading their body language, then you got to process all that on your end. You know, you're getting feedback there. And most of the time we've done podcasts about this where it's like they really don't know what they want. They just know what they don't want. And it's just like, well, so I don't like that one.
That's good, because I was going to say there's 3 episodes. We try to keep these podcast episodes a little bit evergreen. I might have a hacky reference to like Zika or something, so if they're a little old like that, that's why. But
which one was Zika? The one with the giant baby heads?
Yeah. It's pretty cool. When we had two
Giant
babies
Baby
as that was going on. Well, if I make a reference that's dated like Anthony Weiner or something like that, it's...
Yeah, but that's
throw
timeless.
that out.
That's
throw
timeless.
that out. We try to make the Vice as good for a couple of years as we can make it, or evergreen or whatever you want to call it. So go back if you want to search through Sweat Equities episodes for Steve Fantetti. He's our power business attorney. We break down the basics of getting the legal going, and I go through every dumb question you have so you don't have to ask your guy or gal. The other one is how to get creative notes back, which is my least favorite thing, and I try not to lose my shit, is when I get creative notes. I just don't give me something that I don't like that.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I want to go back and listen how angry we were when we were doing this podcast.
I want to, have you ever gotten this note? Better.
Right.
Period.
So then I go, what's better? Is it the shape? Is it the 2D or 3D version of this? Is it the color? Or what screen are you looking at this on? Are you on your phone? Or
It's just better than the last one.
Yeah, so I keep going. I keep digging like an attorney kind of does. It's just keep going. Okay, so how are you looking? Or what kind of desktop are you on right now? Is it a Retina screen like mine, or is it kind of an old school Dell? What are you working on?
It's a computer.
So what kind of computer are we working with?
I think it's a PC.
PC, all right. So are we talking Gateway from the 90s? And I'll throw in a little shitty joke like that, so that gets their ear. Like, oh,
I didn't know I was going to be role playing today, but okay.
It's a game of improv.
I could jump on.
It's all right. I got you. It's yes anding.
Do you want me to take over for the computer questions?
Well,
and
let me
answers?
no. Let me ask you this question.
My company gave it to me.
By the way, I can see your screen because we have the technology to be able to track that. So yeah. If you want to look at Boomerang for your emails to track if people open your emails, that's a little helpful advice right there. If you're sending contracts via email, which I don't recommend, I'd send them via DocuSign or some other cloud-based service like that. It's worth it because it'll send them a copy immediately after they're done, all that shit. But we use Boomerang for Gmail. So if you guys want something to go, hey, did this fucker actually open his email up? It's like $15 a month, but you can track. The idea of it was starting with if they don't open, or you can have a drop down. If they don't open, reply, click, or something else. Actually read it. It'll figure out if they read the email. It'll boomerang it back to them as a new email in whatever 2 days, whatever you want.
Nice.
So it's sweet. It actually saves me a lot of time. And if we're efficient, you break out doing your emails like throughout the day, but you only send them. They only go out at the end of the day or something like that.
Now let me ask you this, because and for a long time I was the only point of contact for my business and my clients. My clients.
We're going fast. We're trying to do this micro machines.
Did you ever find yourself in a position where you're sending out a contract, Eric, and that you were like, well, man, I built such a great relationship with this person. I was the person who introduced them. I got them all like wet and ready, and now I've got to hit them with the legal document. Do you ever find hesitation, or how do you get past that barricade of, crap, now I got to get real with these people?
Well, so what we're doing now, law does all that. So like, there's part of that I'm glad that I don't have to deal with that sort of thing, because it is like, no matter what, there lawyers involved, people just get weird. Like they get tightened up. If you don't know that person, it's like, oh man, what does that mean? What does that mean for later? Are they recording me right now? Like what, that sort of thing. So I personally haven't had a lot of, at least in this business, when I was doing videography, I would get into the contracts and stuff a little bit, but that was all basically copy and pasted standard videography contract that I never bothered I looked at it, to make sure it wasn't saying that we'd set ourselves on fire at the end of the night or something weird. But, I never had a problem with it. If the deal's done, sending a contract out, that's all just paperwork. People are usually good with it.
Yeah, and no one wants to really get lawyers involved. I try to do my best to not with any of these, but there's the old sayings like, your contracts is only as good as it is specific, right?
Yes.
So a loose contract where you just go, well, the logo's due in whenever it's done. That's how you get boned on the work side as the contractor.
So what advice would you give to someone who maybe has some downloaded contract from the internet? Or
don't do that. Don't ever do that.
Well, that's the first thing they're going to do.
Right.
First thing anyone's going to do is they're going to go to like some LegalZoom or some crazy thing. Not LegalZoom, but they're going to, contracts, right?
So go to LegalZoom and get your LLC started if you haven't done it that way, right?
Right.
That's
LegalZoom can be useful.
Well,
it's
okay,
just for like
that
when you're
part done.
doing.
All right, I'm talking about like
we're talking operating agreements.
Right.
generic. I'm talking about generic work for hire contract for video graphics or whatever. I'm out there. I've got my own little business. I just started up. I need a contract because I got a client.
Here's how you do it. You find that business attorney and you see if you can kind of trade services.
So what should a business attorney
go
for if I'm paying cash, and what would a business attorney go for if I'm trying to trade services?
It's different in every state, and it's definitely different in scope. But for this example, I'll try to say it's worth a few grand maybe to do it. And the way I do a birder, because I have a lot of friends we work with, and I try to, they're in that immature phase, as I call it, under 3 years as a business, just as, we're about to get to that 3-year mark. If we're not already, I don't know when we technically started, but let's just say we're in that immature zone as a business. And I'd say, okay, our rate's $186.50 an hour. Yours as an attorney is twice that. So we'll do twice the hours to do your website if you help us do contracts, or whatever's left over, we'll pay for that, or you figure it out. But with video and on the marketing side, that can go on forever to make up for that.
Right.
And there's always attorneys that need help with that too. So I would say in that scenario, that's the way I'd play it. That's kind of the pragmatic advice, the real life advice. If you want to do it like my dad would give, who's super conservative, just find that attorney that is at a youngish level. Don't go to the big firms because they can be so expensive, but do the ones that are around your age that will do it. But pay your friend that's a business attorney a couple grand. What you need is operating agreements. You need your LLC declaration, whatever docs. So how many people are on the LLC, who's a member, who's a manager, who's a member manager. And then if you do any and stuff with the state. So you need to get stuff done like federally, state, and then you just need this contract started. Do not go online and get it because what you're doing in that mindset is you're going, I'm going to find a template. But what we just backtracked to, you just made yourself open-ended because it's not set up for you.
But the weird thing for like creative people, they're not into admin stuff like that.
Sure.
And it's like they all want to go that where it's just like, I just want to get it done, move on or whatever.
I'll tell that creative person right now, I'm talking to
Tell
you.
'em.
I'm going to close my eyes. I'm talking to you right now.
Well, I'm not
That's
listening.
how you'll always stay a freelancer. You will always, always be a freelancer. You'll never get out of that hole. You'll never get to that next level if you don't push yourself to doing that administrative. And I'm saying this to myself as well.
And I'm tagging on to that. That's how you lose $10,000 in contracted business in your first 1 or 2 years easily. I've lost money because the contracts didn't state certain things, and because at the end of the contract, quite literally, I'm like, hey, man, so you owe me now like $5,000. And the guy's like, well, the contract was for $2,500. And I'm like, yeah, but, you did this, you did that. And he's just, well, that's not in the contract.
Yeah.
But, right here, well, what it means is, well, that's what you interpret it as, but that's not what's in the contract.
My next thing, I think, is to TurboTax our contracts a little bit. Yeah, I love TurboTax. I think what they've done, what? Go FreshBooks?
You got to say it out loud.
No, it's fine.
It's not the same thing.
FreshBooks is more bookkeeping.
Accounting.
Yeah.
And
TurboTax is
I'm
its
just
own
trying
deal.
to protect you, bro.
No, I know where I'm going. So I use TurboTax as a really in LegalZoom to a degree of this. They haven't done it as TurboTax has done the best job of taking what's super complicated in taxes and making it so simplified that any of us at this table can do our own taxes.
It's really annoying when you see how much they've simplified it, and then you see the paperwork that they spit out at the end. You're like, are you kidding me? Like, people are supposed to figure that out on their own?
Exactly.
Without this?
Well,
what?
I'm not. This isn't tinfoil hat, so I'm not going to get into.
It's a
They
conspiracy,
like
man.
it to be hard. And
Yeah, for sure.
no one's. The only people that are going to fight that are accountants, and accountants want.
They like
They
it.
want it to be hard. So.
Yeah.
Because that's how their job
Math
exists.
problems.
Right. So, exactly. So, so my thing is like, how can I TurboTax our contracts so our clients understand what's going on too? And that's what I want to get to eventually is like some kind of interface maybe through Typeform or Cognito forms that, it spells it out in a very basic manner. And then here's actually the legal jargon underneath.
Right.
We'll throw that out there. Hey, if anybody listening to this podcast is familiar with building those kind of forms and wants to do a little sweat equity trade and want to help us out with that,
Yeah.
I mean, we'll work on your marketing and things of that nature, and you can help us come up with a way that we can create a universal contract that it's easy enough for someone to plug in, answer some questions, and spit out a contract that works with everybody.
I'll give you the other side of this. Well, it's more about
And then we'll help you market that, and then we'll help you
Right.
sell it, and then we'll get a part of it, and now we'll move on from there.
It's part of but it's also the client doesn't understand what they sign some of the time. And so I don't want an iTunes terms and agreement where we're just trying to get them to scroll through everything and click yes. I don't really want that because I want them to know what they're signing to. But I can't.
But you also, it doesn't matter also. Like,
I can't go back and go over a indemnification for an hour with them because I'm not an attorney. I can tell you, like, I always go, look, I'm not an attorney, but I can tell you about indemnification on our part. We don't want you to hand over anything copywritten that we put out there that we give back to you or we market for you, and then we get boned on that. We get sued on that.
Yeah.
We don't want that. You especially have to deal with
especially with video. I mean, people hand us stuff like, oh, yeah, no, I have these clips and this footage from our last video. And I'm like, well, there's McDonald's clearly present in this video, and you're saying something, and it's a video against, let's say, burger grease, or it's a vegetarian
Putting
video.
your dick in a Big Mac, for example.
Yeah, but exactly.
Shout
we
out to
can't.
John Jacobs, who has a McDonald's logo on his album.
That's what
Well,
we're talking about.
Yeah.
So in that case,
I didn't know if you saw that or not.
yeah, no, I did, but
Yeah.
I personally can't necessarily. I have to have something in my conscience that, hey, I'm going to put this out there for you. But if McDonald's comes after you, they're not.
You
coming
don't
after
have that?
me.
You need to put that
Oh no,
in
I have that in there. Oh yeah, yes. Oh no, trust me.
All right, we got to shut this thing down because I've got a hard out. You guys have got a lot of stuff going on. Any last words before we tell people subscribe, rate, review, tell a friend, tell that loved one, coworker about this podcast?
Send us a message. It's nice.
Yeah,
We'd like
people
to
have been
see
hitting
it.
us up. It's
We
fun.
got a lot of nice things.
Yeah,
I've,
well,
got
actually-
I've got some LinkedIn. We're gonna do a mailbag probably on Monday or Tuesday.
Oh boy.
Nice.
So I've got. If you want
I
to
better
send us
start
some
writing
questions,
Some fake emails.
I answer stuff on LinkedIn about it, there's a thing called like give people advice or something like that, and so I don't think anybody likes the advice I've been given, but
The condescending advice corner.
if I'm gonna answer those, I'm gonna answer them on here at least. At least we'll get something out of it.
We didn't even mention we're both wearing the same pants today randomly.
Yeah.
Check it.
Look at that.
Show
Not
me your
only-
pants.
Not,
See, look, you can't see the
not,
inside.
not
We're
only
both
am I
wearing-
between two sick guys, I'm also between two sick guys wearing the same pant.
Yeah. Well, we're not
And-
in the same pair of pants.
we've
We're
got the
wearing
flu.
two separate pairs
That's
of pants that are the same design.
Whatever.
We're
I
not
think-
walking around
I
like
think
one of
they're
those
kind of
half
dad
donkeys.
I think the Adidas navy blue are kind of the dad.
Yeah, I got this
younger
when my
dad.
kid
It's
was
like
born
I'm
at the
still
hospital.
athletic, but I'm comfortable at the same time. At least I'm not wearing sweatpants.
My dad used to wear hospital pants. All scrubs.
Wow,
It's kind
that's
of a
ultimate dad
badass
move.
move. I might start adopting that.
I'm gonna
again.
wear one of those assless gowns.
Ooh.
Beat that.
All right. That's been the podcast for Eric, Damian, I'm Law, and Jordan. Off camera. Subscribe, rate, review, comment, do something. If you do a comment, you can talk shit just as long as it's trying to be funny. That you can talk shit about us, I don't care, but at least try to make it witty.
Yeah.
That's it for now. You know how to end this thing, Jordan? You press the red button and then
Drag
you're
to
gonna
the
slide
left,
it
right.
over.